Hi, my name is Angela Stanek. I'm 35 years old, and I was diagnosed with systemic lupus approximately 10 years ago. And then it took a turn for the worse approximately 5 years ago and turned into lupus nephritis. It was in my kidneys, and I would get blood clots in my lungs, be hospitalized on and off, and then it just got really bad when I went septic. And it got to the point where my body was covered in these painful nodules. I mean, I couldn't sleep. My hair was falling out. I was just covered in this rash, and I would just cry every single night in the bathtub. And I heard of Dr. Nemeh in this wonderful place, so we thought we would give him a try. And Tuesday night at 11 o'clock p.m., we drove out here, and it was a miracle. And I feel 100% like myself today.
All right, so when you came in to see Dr. Nemeh, you want to show them the
Yes.
rash so people can see what you're talking
This
about?
is what my skin looked like all over my body, not necessarily on my face, but my arms and my legs, my thighs, everything. This was my skin. And was lobular and septal paniculitis, which is an inflammation of the fat of your skin. So I had biopsies done, and then weird things to me would happen, like my hand would swell up to like 5 times the size. My legs would balloon up to where I couldn't even walk. And none of the doctors could do anything to save me. I had every single infectious disease doctor at university hospitals, rheumatology, Cleveland Clinic doctors. Nobody could do anything for me. I mean, everyone just scratching their heads, calling it disease progression. And unfortunately, I was going to be a casualty of lupus.
So at one point, what happened here? Can you tell us?
I went septic because of my low immune system. And this is a picture of my disgusting tongue. This was actually like a fungus growing on my tongue to the point where I couldn't swallow or drink anything. I had to be put in ICU, and they had to stick a feeding tube down my throat, and they had to make sure I didn't choke on my tongue. So,
All right, so you came in to see Dr. Nemeh, and you went into the room, and I'm Kathy Nemeh. You met me when
yes.
you came in. And I went into the room with you and your mom. You were very emotional. I remember that you were crying and you said, I'm going to die. And you were very frail and you were very, very sick. And you made me laugh at one point because you have a great sense of humor, which is part of your healing too, when you can laugh at yourself, but you want to laugh your way through this. But it was very, very serious.
Right.
And you called it leprosy.
Yes.
And you showed me, and it broke my heart. And I tried not to react because they were big, ugly,
red
blobs.
Burning.
Oh.
It was horrid.
I mean, I think even your clothes hurt your skin.
I couldn't even put bed sheets on my skin at night. I would just lay in bed, and I have an 8-year-old son. I could not take care of him whatsoever. My mother had my parents had to step in and help me with my child. I couldn't even let him touch my skin. I would literally scream out in pain.
And I know that you have this picture here of your son when you were all swollen. He's Sebastian.
This is a picture of, I could barely close my mouth. This is when it wasn't that bad. And I missed him so much. I was in the hospital for 36 days at one time. And then I got pneumonia after being home for a week. And then I was in the hospital again. So I just kept getting more sick and more sick. And then that's when they did the biopsy on my kidneys and saw that there was active lupus in my kidneys. So then my organs were starting to be affected by it. And slowly they were shutting down.
Right, and that's at the point when you came here. You told me about your kidneys shutting down. And at that point, I've seen so much. I've seen so many miracles, and I try to put people at ease when they come in. And what did I say to you?
You told me, and I thought it was a very powerful statement. She told me and my mother that not only was I going to feel better when I walked out of his office that night, but she told me that my lupus was going to slowly be eradicated and that I was going to be healed, ultimately. Her husband said the same thing. And me and my mom thought, wow, that's a really powerful statement for them to tell me that and my numbers, it's happening. It's over the course of the last time I saw them, my numbers get better and better and better. I see my rheumatologist. Nobody can explain why I'm being healed. Usually when you have lupus, you have lupus. It doesn't just go away. This has gone away.
I remember you called me shortly after you were here. You called me and you told me all of the lesions. What happened?
The next morning, and I can provide you guys with a picture. The next morning, they were gone. Like, they were gone. They were on my legs for months. I was on steroids. I was on anti-inflammatories, antifungals. I was on medicine for gout, cold disease. I mean, I was on like 25. Nobody could do anything. My cousin is a dermatologist, and she was injecting me with steroids in each nodule. She's never done it before, but she said, you know what, let's try it. So I would get injections of steroids in all these little nodules and cry. I mean, I would have like 100 needle marks in my legs, and it did nothing, nothing. And then the next morning, my nodules were gone. And every single day they fade more, fade more, fade more. And now it's just like a little bit of darkening of my skin, but I have no pain whatsoever, no bumps, no lumps, no nodules, nothing. I look almost normal.
All right, so when you woke up like that, what did you think?
I thought that I had a miracle, and I was screaming and crying and, texting pictures to my dad's friends at the clinic who were all doctors who couldn't help me. And I mean, there was a matter of 100 people that knew within me being up for like 30 minutes. That's how we were all amazed. I mean, I had friends that did not believe in God, that when they saw my results, they are now believers. I mean, that's how powerful it was. There was no question in their mind what happened. Nothing. So.
All right, let's go back to, all right, I left the room and then Dr. Nemeh goes in. What did you feel in the room, or what did he tell you? What did he do?
It wasn't what I don't know what I expected. I expected like a dark room where he would be like praying over me, but it wasn't what I expected, but I felt the presence of Christ in the room. It was like this heavy presence. It was, you could not like deny what was going on. And he just kind of did his thing, and he was very like to himself and in his own, like he was in his own head, like he was very focused on what he was doing. And I was terrified because I was dying. So, it's almost midnight on a weekday, and I'm sitting in a doctor's office holding this metal thing, and he's doing these things in my legs, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. But I mean,
so he does a medical treatment. He measured meridians on your wrists, ankle, puts
very medically professional, yes.
Okay, so what did you talk to him?
I did not really talk to him. He asked me questions about how, what was wrong with me, what my symptoms were. He asked about the protein that was being spilled into my kidneys because my kidneys were slowly failing. But he, to be honest, before I met him, I kind of questioned this because it was so, you don't hear about this. I mean, you really don't. And then when I met him, within a second of knowing him, I was like, okay, I get it. Like, I could feel the presence of Christ just in the office alone. And he was such a gentle, holy man, and his wife it was just a great experience. It's real. Like, it's real.
All right, so what did your doctors at the clinic say?
They might have been a little jealous because they all worked very, 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 very hard for a very long time, like personal emails back and forth on a daily basis, trying drugs that usually they don't try, sending me to their friends, their colleagues. I was up to talk to this board of rheumatologists about these cases where they can't do anything, and then all of a sudden I, start talking about me coming here, and then like my numbers get better and I start to do well. So of course they were happy because I have personal relationships with all of them, especially my rheumatologist. But they just couldn't explain it.
Your family are very good friends with the Cleveland Clinic people, so
yes.
I'm sure they're very happy for you.
They're very happy.
Did you tell them you came to see Dr.
Yes. Oh, of course, yes.
And
like that next morning, my dad texts Dr. Waters at the Cleveland Clinic, and he was amazing and instrumental in my healing. He pulled all the strings, and I had the most smartest minds all in my hospital room. And people would just scratch their head and just kind of say they're sorry, they can't help me.
So what would you say to somebody that has never met Dr. Nemeh, never been to the office?
What do you have to lose? I mean, what do you have to lose? I mean, where I was at, I said, my mom said, Angela, like, we tried everything. We tried every sort of drug treatment, even things that were not commonly used for that. And so what do we have to lose? I mean, I was dying and I was losing control of the disease. And I felt like I was drowning, and I couldn't tread water anymore. And like my mom would just like, we would look at each other and we would just be like, man, this is really happening to me. Like it's very scary. But when I walked out of his office, I really felt like I was going to start living. And I feel so alive. And I think I'm going to live until I'm very old and wrinkly like I want to.
Well, so would you say this was divine intervention? Would you say it's a miracle? Would you
I
say
was just going to say divine intervention, but I didn't want to interrupt you.
You're not interrupting.
It was divine intervention. Divine intervention.
So did you question the people that told you to come here?
No, I believe in Jesus Christ. I'm a practicing Catholic, so I do believe that God heals. I just thought there are really good people that die of cancer every single day. There are bad things that do happen to us. So it's just not for us to understand. And I thought that unfortunately that was going to, be my destiny. So I thought just give it a try. But I did think that it could happen to me, but I didn't think it would, because it's so, I don't feel like I'm lucky enough. Like, there's so many great people that die every day of disease. Like, why am I being spared? So I just feel super blessed, not worthy almost.
And then I thought it was so cool when you called one time and you said that your relatives and friends were having a big bash for you.
Yes, my whole family was just, everyone saw me suffering and sick, and it was just so long of a process. And then when it happened, we knew that the way I woke up the next morning after being at the office, they knew that, like, I was going to live. Like, everyone knew it.
So, Angela, don't you feel special?
I do feel special, and I feel like I don't understand why I was given, the name of the office. I don't understand why. I just don't understand. I just know that I want to live my life to its fullest and try to do good, and I'm so passionate about what has happened here, because that's why it happened to me. Because God wants me to talk about this. He wants me to spread his word. He wants to make non-believers believers. And I'm going to do that, because if I didn't, it would be a very, very bad sin not to. So,
well, God bless you. And I'm so glad you called to ask to do this today.
oh,
I'm very humbled, and I feel
it's my pleasure.
blessed to know you, and let the healing continue.
Thank you so much.
God bless you.
God bless you.